Yeah.
All right, we don't have an intro. All right, no biggie. All right, with Jason Shearer, I am Mike Luke. All right, we've got a lot to get to today, but first and foremost, we must talk about the lovely Cora Shearer. Wasn't doing so well last night, but it appears that she is a fighter. She is a rebounder. Shearer, give us the latest updates. What's going on?
Yeah, looks like she is coming home later today and going to give it another go at home. They had to remove quite a bit of dead tissue and pumped her full of antibiotics last night. And we're going to see how she responds being at home and around family and all that. But it looked better than it did last night.
All right. Well, that's good. We will keep her in our thoughts for sure. Okay. Now, we're going to talk a lot today. We're going to talk good news for the Spacers. Good news for the Spacers. Also, we're going to talk a commitment. Arizona's rotation, I think, is kind of set. We'll talk Joson Sanon. We are going to talk a lot. We will also talk a little bit about this as well. By the way, Shearer, when you fought off the home invasion at your house by just sitting there, was this possibly the snake deciding that he could catch you slipping?
It's possible. It's funny because like everyone's asking why I didn't kill the snake. It just wasn't the priority. Like literally grabbed the dog and sped to the vet and called some snake people because I have 2 kids and multiple other dogs too. Had it played out differently, Mike would have a nice snake skin background right now.
Would be very good. A snake skin background. Okay.
Yes. That was
all
good.
right, Shearer, I got to give you a lot of credit on this one. I have never heard of Anthony Dell'Orso from Campbell. I have no clue how you found out about this person, but you did find out and you were told to keep it quiet. I have the proof to say it. This was very good work on your part, Shearer. Listen, all I've seen is the highlights, but I will say it looks like a pretty good shooter, averaged almost 20 points per game, 6 rebounds, and he appears to be very low maintenance, doesn't have a lot of expectations. Let's talk about Anthony Dell'Orso. Your story, your scoop.
Yeah, it's a situation where there's really no downside. Like the kid, like this recruitment literally played out over 24 hours. Like maybe Arizona talked to him initially a few times, nothing big. Yesterday, basically, Arizona makes the decision, hey, you know what? Just to be safe, let's go try to add another guard. They call this kid up. He's very interested. They're like, look, you're going to have to come off the bench. We don't know what the other schools are telling you, but we're going to be honest with you. And he says, yeah, that's fine. And so they're like, okay, well, if you're cool coming off the bench, and he's like, I want to play for a winner. You guys are going to win. It's a nice offensive piece, and they need an offensive guy off the bench, and he's exactly that.
All right, now, I get all these people saying, well, this must mean that KJ Lewis isn't coming back. No, it does not mean that. It means nothing of that nature. We will talk about that later. Listen, as good as I like to listen, the kid's still from Campbell. So again, we need to pump the brakes a little bit. Now, for the Spacers are very excited about this signing, very, very moved. I'm assuming Dell'Orso is going to play. I keep wanting to call him Del Toro. Benicio Del Toro.
Or Del Taco, maybe.
Yeah.
Del Taco.
Dell is just such part of my life that I want to be able to put that in there. But he's a good piece. He is not scaring off KJ Lewis or Caleb Love. He is not going to start. But you're more than okay with that. And let's be honest here. With guys from Campbell, guys from, UNC Asheville, I think he's good. I think he's going to be a very nice rotational piece. But you also got to take it with a grain of salt. We saw Dylan Smith average, 15 points a game as a freshman. He came in here and Dylan Smith stunk. Come
on. Unless you played in Anaheim.
Yeah.
Like there is definitely a question. Like Campbell was really bad last year. Not even average. I mean, flat out bad. So is he and I've talked about this before, is he just the best player on a bad team? Right. Like, and so, his efficiency is really nice considering he's probably the only offensive guy that other teams really were concerned about. But yeah, I mean, there's a very obvious question of how everything translates. Like, for instance, his rebound numbers at Campbell are awesome, but they were a bad rebounding team. So it might just be a case of, hey, he's 6'6". He was the second tallest guy on the team at 6'6". He may just be the one that grabbed rebounds. Like, we don't know if he's an actual good rebounder. We know that he's not a very good defender. I'm just going to put that out there. Yeah, they're not adding him for his defense. But yeah, I mean, I think there's expectations, kind of level off. And in terms of the impact on KJ Lewis and all that, that's not why they took him. I know why they took him. It's not Lewis. It's not Love. You could maybe make the case it's insurance for Joson, but
let's talk about that. I have no inside information on this, but I am at the point with this when it comes to Joson Sanon. Again, I have no inside information, so if this is wrong, smack Sheer around, not me. But I'll believe Sanon hits campus when I see it. That is where I'm at this point. We are going to talk about the rotation here in a little bit. If Sanon hits campus, that is absolutely fantastic, but I will believe it when I see it when he shows up.
Look, man, I think Arizona will believe it when it sees it. Like, I think
this was a move. Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's why they added Dell'Orso. Because here's the thing: let's say Sanon doesn't come to campus, and he makes that decision when Caleb Love makes his decision, which is in 2 weeks, right? I wouldn't expect anything on the Caleb Love front for 2 weeks. Well, now you're into June. You need a scorer. You need a guy, and Dell'Orso's not available. So now what is available? And so Arizona looked at the portal and said, we need to be ready for all outcomes. If Caleb stays in the NBA, here's a good guy to have. If Sanon doesn't wind up coming to Arizona, here's a good guy to have. And if it all winds up going the way we want it to go, who cares? We just added Dell'Orso too. That's a great player off the bench.
Right, but that's where and again, Jess Antonio says, but why? Listen, if Caleb Love comes back, if KJ Lewis comes back, they're going to get, that's a lot of shots that are going to be taken away from him. And I think that it just makes sense. And again, like I said, I'll believe that he shows up when I see it. I think that this was the first move by Arizona of covering their tush. How about that?
Yeah, and look, why, like, Sanon was, to no fault of Arizona, to no fault of Sanon, he was sold on you're going to get Caleb Love's shots, you're going to start, you're going to have a major role. Well, now all of a sudden, if Caleb Love comes back, if KJ Lewis comes back, Sanon's not starting. It is very unlikely that Sanon starts. You can still get him minutes and all that, but this is a kid who has made it very clear, and his camp has made it very clear he wants to start. And if he is told that he is not starting, my guess is he goes somewhere where, he is.
Jesse Antonio, yes. Sanon will most likely be playing in the class of 2024. That is where we were at. But back to Dell'Orso for a second. Again, this is nice. Now, let's talk about the spacers for a minute. The spacers. Does this solve the problem? So if we bring in a player that plays 12 minutes per game and shoots 2 threes, will the spacers say that we have solved the issue, Jason Shearer?
No, I don't think this is the magic recipe. But I'll tell you this. Going back to and I'm going to look this up real quick. The crowd that wanted Xavier Amos, right? Mm-hmm. He shot 4 threes a game, and they said that would fix the spacing issues. Mm-hmm. Dell'Orso, when I look it up, shoots 4 threes a game as well, and the exact same percentage as Amos.
Well, there you go. It's solved. The issue is solved. We bring in the reserve. The spacing issues, they are no longer a concern. Spacers, stand down.
By the way, Taco with Dell'Orso, sponsored by PHNX.
That's really good.
By the way,
they
are NIL segment.
They are finally starting to work on the Del. They are finally starting to work on the Del Taco deal. That is all you get, though. That is all you get. Okay, now. Couple things. Then we're going to get to the rotation here. By the way, Kobe Thiel, I like this guy on Twitter yesterday. Very, very funny. He was trying to compare Julius Tabelis' field goal percentages to Caleb Love's. Well, being that one guy just shoots inside the paint and the other one doesn't. And then one guy said, man, he said, Shaq, much better efficiency than Steph Curry. If Steph could just really, really do that, then it would be good. Now, Sheer, you have been remiss on something, and everybody out there. We need to sell 6 more Smelly Rainy Seattle shirts so these things can get in circulation. You will buy one today, Jason Shearer.
Yeah, you have my word. I got a little preoccupied last night, but I gave you my word. I'm good for it. I will show you the receipt later today. I will buy a shirt.
And it goes to Friends of Wilbur and Wilma. It's for a good cause. We will make this one happen. Erica Day, you need to get one as well when you get paid on Friday. Now, Shady Rays, my friend. Shady Rays are back. They are back, and everybody likes Shady Rays. All right, here's the deal with Shady Rays. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head on over to Shady Rays and use code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Shady Rays, check it out. And speaking of which, Sheer, are you going to Circle K today?
Yeah, I might actually.
All right.
I've been this week.
What's that?
I've been this week.
What did you get?
When we remember, I got gas and a Polar Pop the other day.
Nice. And you got gas because you're part of the inner circle. Sheer, you just froze up. Sheer. Hey, Sheer, you froze up. What is this? Holy moly. This is all right. Well, I'm going to read this while you I don't know what's going on there. All right, Circle K Inner Circle. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details, all kinds of good stuff. He is going to be coming back, though. Jason Shearer, hop back in. All right, Erica Day says, what shirt are we getting? We're getting the white shirts. That's what I am going to get. I got the white shirt already. There is it. Let's see here. Is Sheer back? What is going on with it? Sheer froze like a Polar Pop. That was very, very funny. What is going on here? Now I need all of you. We will try to get Sheer back when we can. But now we're going to talk. So here's what we got to talk about with Anthony Dell'Orso. He is very, very, this is a good pickup because this guy essentially doesn't care about starting. And not only does he not really care about starting, he's kind of like, all right, I want to just play here. And he's got 2 years of eligibility left, which is very, very nice, very tasty. And you give him the ability to be able to possibly have that upward trajectory to be able to, I don't know, maybe start the following year. Who knows? But there certainly is that possibility. Let's see here, Sheer. What is going on? Everybody stay loyal here. Sheer, hop back in. But that's kind of where we're at with Dell'Orso. Now, we're going to talk about a bunch about the rotation now. Also, Erica L. Day, the great Erica Day. I love the Mercury podcast. Check it out on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, on Thursday. So, all right, as far as the backup point guard spot goes, El Boom, very good question. I would imagine this is going to be something like it's going to be Caleb Love and I don't know, Caleb Love and maybe somebody else, but Jaden Bradley is going to play a lot of minutes. Not only is Jaden Bradley going to play a lot of minutes, he is going to he's going to be out there, and I think that he is going to embrace it. Oh, look who we got back. Jason,
it was your fault.
The rattlesnake attacked the Wi-Fi. That was very, very good. Very good. All right.
That's the point. It's probably the home invader. I'm plugging my Wi-Fi, so I can't call for it.
By the way, all right, now, real quick, and we're going to get to the rotation. Our Arizona baseball continues to roll, my friends. Back the chip, Jason Shearer.
Big win last night. Anytime you beat ASU in any sport, it's a big win.
Yes, exactly. Now, there was one time in our lives where we rooted for ASU. We have been honest about this many, many times, but that was going to have to. That was the case. All right, now, let's talk the rotation. I believe that this Arizona basketball rotation I believe it's going to be an 8-man rotation. Now, if it gets bigger, if there's other guys that force their way into the lineup, that is absolutely fantastic. But here's what you got. Jaden Bradley is going to play a ton of minutes. Duh. Caleb Love would play a ton of minutes. Duh. KJ Lewis, obviously. Trey Townsend, Mount Crevis, Awaka, and then Dell'Orso, and then who am I forgetting? There's one other one, and it's an obvious one as well.
Townsend.
And I already said Townsend. Townsend's starting. Who's the third guy off the bench then?
Carter.
Oh, Carter Bryant. Duh. Yeah, duh. Carter Bryant. Yes, very, very good point. That to me is the 8. Again, now, if somebody forces their way into the rotation, that is absolutely fantastic. But that is the 8, Sheer. What say you?
Yeah, Tommy's going to do everything he can to try to make Henry part of the rotation. He even brought him up at the fan event the other night and was saying, I think people are forgetting about Henry. That's one of
Yes.
those believe it when I see it type of deals. I think you'll have nights where maybe he goes a little deeper than 8. But yeah, I mean, that's in the NCAA tournament. That will be the rotation. If Henry winds up being good enough, Jamari winds up being good enough, and any of these guys wind up being good enough, awesome. But I think those are the 8 that you probably have confidence in contributing.
Now, the backup point guard spot is going to be fascinating because Jaden Bradley is going to have to play Jason Gardner type minutes. He's probably going to have to play 35 minutes per game. I am more than okay with that. But James Casillas, yes, Sanon would play over Orso, correct. But I don't know that he's coming here to play 14 minutes per game. But that's kind of where we're at. I think, what, is Caleb Love probably going to be the backup at that point?
At the point?
Yeah.
From what I understand, and this is part of the pitch to bring him back, also Caleb Love and the third point guard to be KJ Lewis. They believe that KJ, not for like 20 minutes a game, but they believe that KJ is capable of handing point.
All right. Well, I don't know that I see that with KJ, but I would love to.
I don't either, but that's coming directly from the guys that are in charge of that, so we'll see.
Right. So we will find that. We will definitely find that one out. Now, but that's the rotation to me. And I think that what I like about this rotation is that you got a little bit of everything off the bench. And that Tobe Awaka, we know exactly what he can do. He is he's a big physical dude, a bruiser guy that can, go in there, throw some bows. But I also think with a coach that actually understands offense to a certain degree, I do believe that I believe he's going to be better, and I believe he's going to be a starter the following season. Arizona did not really have anybody like Tobe Awaka this past year. I am excited about Tobe Awaka.
Yeah, tough dude. I think he's better offensively than we probably think, or that he was at Tennessee. It wouldn't surprise me if he's not playing a ton of minutes right away. I think that his real role will probably show up next season.
I agree.
2 seasons from now, I think he'll be a vital part of this team, if not a starter. But he's a guy where, I mean, he's the backup 5, right? Like Steven is clearly, the coaching staff, and you don't think Emmanuel Steven is ready right now.
No, he's not. Stop asking me about him, people.
Right. So Awaka is the backup center. He's not a 4. He is a 5, strictly a 5. It would be a very unique lineup if he's in at the 4.
Yes, exactly. I could actually see Emmanuel Steven. I could see Emmanuel Steven redshirting, and I would have no problem with that. We're going to get the rankings here in a second. A wild card off the bench is Carter Bryant. I am curious because he does have the talent to force his way into more minutes. I kind of feel that exactly what you're going to get with Awaka to a certain degree, certainly with Dell'Orso. Carter Bryant is the one dude where you've got a little bit of a if Carter comes in fully motivated, fully ready to go, I could see Carter forcing his way, not necessarily into the starting lineup, but to being that guy that you have to bring in off the bench at that under 16 timeout or that wherever. He's got that. He's the one that has that potential.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's a guy where he's going to play. And we said this before. If Carter Bryant becomes a consistent basketball player, he's going to be really, really good, and Arizona's going to have no choice but to put him on the court.
Right.
The issue is that, I'm pretty sure Carter does this. There's going to be games where he probably plays 20 minutes, and there's going to be games where he probably plays 10 to 12. So overall, it's just Carter to me is the one that I'm really curious about because I think he's super talented. It's just a matter of what Carter shows up each game.
All right, now let's talk about the other players. Henry, I'll believe it when I see it again. I would love to be wrong on Henry. Would totally love to be wrong on Henry. Conrad Martinez, I do not see playing again. I'd love to be wrong on Conrad Martinez. There could be a my bad Conrad movement as well. Everybody's asking me about Jamari Phillips. Here's just what I'm going to say: when you haven't played a ton of basketball in the last year, this is a loaded team. I keep getting people that are sending me highlight clips. Yes, I'm more than aware of what he's capable of. It's just there's just kind of a numbers game right now. And if he forces his way into the rotation, that would be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I'll be blunt. I just don't see where his minutes come from. Right. And he's talented. Don't get me wrong. But I just don't see where the minutes this year come from. He has to be patient. It's going to test him in big ways. And I think if he's patient, and it'll pay off for him. But this year, you just look at the roster. Now, maybe it becomes easier if Love and Sanon aren't on Arizona, but that feels unlikely. If both guys somehow come back to the roster, there's definitely no minutes for Jamari. It's going to be very interesting to see play out.
It's just kind of a numbers game because only so many guys, to quote Nipsey Hussle, circle got smaller. Everybody can't go. How about that? How about that? But either way, very talented kid. But just like I said, I would love to be pleasantly surprised on that one. So now, let's talk a little bit about this team and the Big 12. I put out on Twitter yesterday, or I put out on Twitter earlier, that I believe that there were five teams in the that there were five preseason top 10 teams in the Big 12. And a guy puts out on Twitter, he says, no, you are wrong. There are no teams from the Big 12 that will be in the preseason top 10. He thought that I was talking about football.
Okay. I was like, what?
Why in the world would I put Houston in there as a top 10 football program? I would never do that.
You love Dana Holgorsen.
What's that? I love Dana Holgorsen, but no, we will get to that in a second. But also, Jason Shearer, the BetMGM Sportsbook app. Check this out, the BetMGM Sportsbook app. Shearer, have you bet anything lately?
I always bet on the Knicks, even though the entire team is hurt.
All right, now. Sign up for BetMGM. Use bonus code PHNX, just like Jason Shearer, just like the great Erica L. Day. Place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through BetMGM Sportsbook mobile app. All of it for at least $10. You will receive 1,500 bonus bets if the bet loses. Check out the show notes for details. There is no Shane Diefenbach today, so there will be no disclaimer from Shane Diefenbach. By the way, did you happen to see Shane Diefenbach's claim about ASU basketball?
No. Is this new?
This is new. We tweeted this out.
Top 6 in the Big 12.
Shane Diefenbach believes that ASU is going to be the 6th best team in the Big 12 next year. Now, I first thought that he meant 16th best team, because are there 16 teams now?
Yeah, there might be. Top 6 is insane.
Top 6 is insane because there's 5 that you are not messing with. You're not going to probably be better than TCU or Kansas State or a variety.
Yeah. Baylor, Kansas, guaranteed to be better. Arizona, better. So that you're at 3 right off the bat.
Right.
Houston, better. You're at 4 off the bat.
Houston, Iowa State.
Yeah. We're talking that's it right there.
Yeah, that's
Kansas,
clear.
Baylor, Iowa State, Houston, Arizona.
Those are all 5 are going to be preseason top 10 teams. Those are very, very good. We like Shane Diefenbach, except when he talks about Teteroa McMillan.
I would say, and I'm not even trying to be a jerk, I think if ASU finishes 10th in the Big 12, that's a good year.
I think it's a good year. Well, they're very excited about the 13-year-old center that they're bringing in.
Yeah.
All right, so we will address that later. All right, here's where I'm at with the Big 12 and Arizona. I am going, by the way, a 2-day commitment coming June 15th, Jason Shearer?
I thought a 2-day commitment was coming for months. Like, didn't he, when we talked to him last summer, seem like he was ready to commit?
Yeah, I did.
I don't know what's taking so long. Yeah, I would say there's a chance, but nothing with him would surprise me. But usually when a kid takes a visit and there's no other visit scheduled, that kid's thinking of committing.
Brad Rich, this is very, very funny. ASU top 15 in the Big 12. No excuses. Very, very good. Andy Bryant, I will show the clip tomorrow because Jacob Franklin is not here today. Jacob Franklin is playing hooky. Anyways, in the Big 12. Oh, by the way, shout out to Mary Ruth Farrell. Mary Ruth Farrell has not commented on any of the YouTube.
She's definitely listening. She may be in hiding, but
yes, Mary Ruth Farrell. Janet Luke came at you, and Mary Ruth Farrell wanted none of that venom. That's for sure, Mary Ruth Farrell. I still love the thing. After like a year plus of bashing me nonstop, and then I finally call her out. Never mention my name on your podcast. Oh, I will mention your name on my podcast. I will, absolutely.
That might be the next T-shirt.
Oh yeah, Mary Ruth Farrell. Hello, Mary Ruth Farrell. Now, so I think Arizona, if I looking at these teams and trying not to be MRF is so good. I love that MRF. Trying not to be biased. I think that Arizona next year, if I were to put together a Big 12 power ranking, I think Arizona is going to be, I would put them 3rd in the Big 12. I like them more than Houston because I think you lose so much with Jamal Shed and Milos Uzanis or whatever his name is. He stinks. Iowa State's interesting, but Kobe Thiel made a very rare good point that they are also not a team that generally plays great outside of where they're that little area. Baylor and Kansas, to me, on paper, are better, period.
I have to say this, too. that gap has narrowed, Mike. Like Baylor's really good now.
Yeah.
That roster is sick
Yeah.
that they put together.
Right.
Kansas just dropped our guy. We once talked about him joining Arizona, and we said Arizona wasn't recruiting him, but Riley Kugel.
Did they get rid of him?
Yeah, they dropped him.
Yeah, I didn't get that one either. That's a loaded team. I didn't get that one. Why they brought him in?
Yeah, I think Kansas, Baylor, Arizona.
Right. Kansas, Baylor, Arizona. Now,
I don't think Arizona fans would argue that they should be higher.
Now, Kansas to me, Shear, and this is one where Shear was wrong. I was telling Shear for the longest time. I said, Texas Tech definitely better than ASU as well. I was telling Shear, by the way, is Frankie Collins going there?
I thought Frankie was going to San Diego State.
Where did he end up?
TCU.
TCU will be better than ASU as well.
Yeah. TCU as well.
All right, but here's where I'm at. Kansas, Jason Shear is not a Kansas fan. He did not think they would be good this coming year. I told Jason Shear, I said they would be preseason number 1. You scoffed at this, Jason Shear.
I scoffed at you because you were saying it before they even added like 3 guys that they added. You predicted the future, as you usually do. They are by far the number 1 preseason.
It's not even close. So,
yeah.
Here's where it is. You got Frankie Collins. You got the dude, the top 10 big man, whoever he is, coming off the bench. I can't remember, but he's a freak. Then you got KJ Adams. You've got Xavier Mayo. Very cool name. Very slick. AJ Storr and DeJuan Harris. Then is Furphy coming back?
Yeah, probably. Their lineup right now would be Harris, Mayo, Storr, Adams, and Dickinson.
And then you got a top 10 big coming off the bench. You've also got you got the shooter from Alabama. The who's the shooter from Alabama?
Ryland Griffin.
Yeah, and then you've also got who's the kid that sucks that actually started this year though? He's fine off the bench. You know what I'm talking about? His name's like El Traco or something, or that's not
El DeMarco.
No, it's something like El DeMarco or El Traco
Jackson.
or
I'm serious. El Marco Jackson or whatever.
El Marco Jackson. You said El DeMarco Jackson. Doesn't count.
Houston's going to be good too if everyone, because Cryer and Roberts are coming back.
Cryer and Roberts.
They're only on Cryer, Sharp, Roberts, and Francis. They're probably.
People have it's a top 10 team. People have no idea how loaded the Big 12 is next year. There aren't going to be.
The ESPN early top 25, they updated it like 2 days ago. Mm-hmm. It is Kansas, Houston, and Iowa State as their top 3.
Wow.
I don't agree with Iowa State.
I would have Alabama. I would have Alabama ahead of Iowa State.
I get Iowa State, though, because they're returning their top 4 scorers, Mike.
Right. I don't get this. The DeJuan Harris thing, and again, we're going to back to Arizona in a second. I think DeJuan Harris is a perfectly solid point guard. I think he's much better than Steve Kerr. I think he's much better than Kerr.
Is that a real question?
Yeah, he doesn't do stupid.
I'll take Harris. Harris runs the offense, really. Yeah,
he does exactly. He's a defensive pest. He was the defensive player of the year in the conference last year.
I think what we're going to see next year is the first year where NIL really changes college basketball. And the reason I say that is because, like, there's dudes that have come back that normally wouldn't come back to school.
Right.
Like, like we look at, the top schools in the country, right? Like Dickinson, I know he's not an NBA guy, but he wouldn't come back to school normally.
Right. He wouldn't come back to school. And he
Cryer wouldn't come back to school. Gonzaga's returning everyone.
Right.
I'm looking at this top 5. Man.
It's loaded. It's absolutely, it is because, but again, he's also going to get you 7 assists. He's also the defensive player of the year in the conference. Come on, guys. And Kirk Kriisa couldn't score either. He averaged 10 points a game on 30.
Harris is good. I like Harris.
Yeah, I do not get that one at all.
I don't care about Kansas fans. Whatever.
Yeah. All right. Now, Jesse Johnson. All right. This is where we call out Kobe Thiel. Mr. Great Kobe Thiel. Whoever said Xavier Amos would solve the spacing issues? People like Kobe Thiel that thought because he would shoot 2 threes a game here that they could not space Arizona. They are wrong. Tommy Lloyd agrees with us, Shear.
Yeah. Mike and I put that down real quick.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, get out of here with all of that stuff. The excessive flatulence. I have not had gas, by the way, since last week.
That's bad. That means when it hits, it's going to hit. We're all going to know it.
It's going to be very, very tough. It's going to be rough. Hide the women and children when this does happen. But man, dude, I felt like I was giving birth. It was that bad. It was that like I was incapacitated. Like
You called me like a 12-year-old. And you're like, Jason Shelby, what do I do for this?
Like, I'm not going to ask my girlfriend about it. That's embarrassing, dude. So I was like, might as well call Shears. So, but no, that was very bad. All right. Now, this Arizona team, though, is much, much better equipped for the Big 12. I believe this is the best equipped Tommy Lloyd team because you have no weenies at point guard anymore. We have Jaden Bradley. I think he is a very, very good fit for the Big 12. KJ Lewis, very, very good fit for the Big 12 as well. I like Caleb Love. I know Caleb Love gets beat up by a lot of people. I like Caleb Love.
No, you need
Townsend,
Caleb Love in the Big 12. You need a guy like that.
You need Caleb Love in the front court. And Tobe Awaka off the bench, I think, is a very nice fit in the Big 12, Jason Shearer.
I'll give Tommy credit, a lot of credit. There's a lot of coaches that lose in the tournament, say they're going to adjust, and then just run out the same stuff the year after, right? Never learn. We said that Tommy learned after Princeton. It is very clear that, like, he told us, look, we know that our roster construction is going to change in the Big 12, and it has. Like, you go out and you get a guy. Like, I'm not even sure Tobe Awaka in the Pac-12 makes sense. You don't really need a guy like that, right? In the Big 12, you better have Tobe Awaka. Like,
all right, now, Adam Prim, a very good follow on Twitter. One of the funniest tweets I have seen all year. He also works for Progressive. I'm mad at Progressive right now because I like Progressive. I like their insurance, and they canceled me. But we will never cancel Adam Prim because we very much like him. Who is the weenie in the front court? I was curious if is he talking about Krivas?
Probably.
Yeah, all right. Okay. Well, I mean, I kind of get that. So we will. I love this baseball side chat that's going on.
I have no idea I don't even know who Isaiah is. I know who Kane is.
Right. Okay. Krivas. Let's talk about Krivas. Caliendo told me something very, very interesting about Krivas. And Caliendo is a big Krivas fan. But he said if you watch Krivas, he said the problem he's always going to have is he has very small feet. That's why he has a very hard time keeping balance. That's why I have not noticed his feet. So we need to start noticing Krivas.
Next time we see him, we're going to stare at his feet.
We will take a picture of his feet. But he said that that's going to be a little bit of an issue for him. And he's just not he's not the strongest guy in the world. But I will say this, Prim. I'm going to disagree with Prim a little bit here, the great Adam Prim. I'm going to disagree a little bit. I do think that a year with Chris Rounds is going to make a huge difference because Arizona would not willingly have moved on from Umar Ballo, leader of men, without a pretty good idea that Krivas can be that dude.
They love Krivas. They think he can be that dude. And Tommy said it at the fan event, and I'm going to write that up later, but he basically said, look, like what we said on the show, it's 1 year of Umar or multiple years of Krivas, and we chose multiple years of Krivas, and they did that for a reason. They think he is going to be a stud. We'll see if they're right. We'll see if they're wrong. But the one thing is everybody gets stronger, right? Like this is a kid that didn't have very long in the weight program. He will absolutely get stronger in the offseason. And I'm very curious to see him make that jump with him knowing he's a starter and not necessarily looking over his shoulder, knowing that he's kind of just biding time for Umar.
All right, Eric. Eric messaged me that I need to see. All right, now with
I hope they copyrighted us. By the way, if Jetfish copyrighted Eric, I'm gonna laugh my ass off.
That would be absolutely amazing. So we will we will talk about that. But now let's get to let's see here. What do we have here? Okay. Now, but that's kind of where I'm at, though. I think that the Big 12 is absolutely going to be loaded. Now let's talk about Trey Townsend. If somebody's going to have to get all these rebounds with Trey Townsend. I guess here's my case or my take is that Trey Townsend, I think, is going to average about 8 rebounds per game next year. I think he's going to get a lot of rebounds. I think he's going to get a lot of assists as well, Jason Shearer. I think that's kind of where I'm at. What say you?
Yeah, he's another one where I'm really curious. Offensively, I think he's going to be good. Like I trust him in this offense. Someone actually texted me, someone a member of the program, and there was a point on the board being made about Townsend assists, and they said that person was very, very smart. Like they think that Townsend, it wasn't you. They think that Townsend was going to put up better assist numbers than he has in his whole career.
I've been saying that.
I know you've been saying that, but they didn't want to give you credit.
Oh, this person, is this someone I might know?
Yeah, they didn't want to give you credit. They gave Fry Rice credit instead on the board.
I know what, I'm totally fine. Fry Rice is a great chap. I will totally give him credit. Now, have your guys' rankings come out yet? Sure.
They are coming out right now as we speak, so I think we're cool to talk about them.
All right. I am not happy with these rankings, Jason Shear. I am not happy with these rankings at all. I have a big problem with one of these rankings. You are moving Carter Bryant to 25. There are not 24 better prospects in the country than Carter Bryant. Who can we blame? Who can we send emails to?
Let me pull him up. Carter's actually 26.
That sucks. That is not. There are not 25 better prospects in Carter.
I'll say this: power forwards. He is Cooper Flagg is number 1 power forward. Donnie Freeman, Darion Reed, Asa Newell, and then Carter Bryant. So he's what did I just say?
The fifth best power forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Prim. If Carter was committed to Duke, he'd be 8.
Look, I don't agree with the ranking. I think Carter should be higher. So right. That's probably the only one, and we'll get to the other ones. That's probably the only one I disagree with. Yeah, I don't agree with that one. I'll just leave it at that.
All right. Now, I do not agree with that one at all. I think Carter Bryant should be somewhere around 12.
Yeah, so like 12 we have, I'm just looking at, we have Derek Queen, the kid that's going to Maryland, the big center at 12. I think if I was doing rankings, like we have Liam McNeely 10. Yeah, I think the 12 to 14 range is probably where I'd have Carter.
Hey, Brad Rich, great point from the great Brad Rich. Great point. You have a say in this, Jason Shear. This is true.
Absolutely not. I have no say in it. If I had a say in it, you see Carter number 1. No,
but you Cooper's also agreed with him on KJ. Although we got to say 247 was drastically wrong last year on KJ Lewis.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. Now, let's talk about Jamari Phillips, my friend. Where's Jamari Phillips?
We have Jamari at, I'm doing this from a spreadsheet. We have him at 52.
All right. I mean, here's what I keep going back with Jamari. I like Jamari a lot. I think he's a talented dude. He just hasn't played a ton, and there's just questions. That's
I'll be honest. I thought, and we talked about this last night. I thought he would drop down further, to be honest, because he hasn't really played in a year. He played AAU last week or whatever it was, and it wasn't like it wasn't Adidas or Nike or anything like that. I'm looking at the guys around him. Like, he's still ahead of Isaiah Elohim. He's still ahead. He's like right where Zoom Diallo is 47 and Jamari's 52.
Zoom Diallo is drastically underrated by you guys.
Oh, that one I'm curious about because I don't like Zoom and you love Zoom.
Oh, I will definitely win on that one, Jason Shear. I will definitely win on that one. That is, this is true. But Stevens is what? Where is Stevens? Like 101?
Stevens is 104. It's Steven, by the way. 104. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's fair as well. Again, with Steven, with Steven, I keep telling people this. To me, it is the Christian Coloco thing, where it's going to take a year or two, but he could certainly outperform that ranking. But I keep getting people, and here's something else. We got peeps. And again, you're all smarter than me, so I don't like lecturing. But when somebody sends me a highlight reel tape, that's their highlights. That's not a.
No one misses in highlights.
That is not the same thing. That is
not. Sanon. Joson Sanon. That's another one.
Where's Joson Sanon?
He's high. We like him quite a bit.
I mean, he's really good. I'm just saying I'll take a 5th year of Caleb Love over a 1st year of Joson Sanon.
We have him at 22.
Feels like he's got more potential than that, Shear.
1 spot ahead of Carter Knox. Right
Kevin
behind
his brother, correct?
Yeah, right behind Boogie Fland. This is actually a pretty good class. I mean, like, Cooper Flagg is really good. Ace Bailey. Rutgers is so funny, man. They got the number 2 and 3 player in the country.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And only one of them was an actual connection, right?
Yeah, and Baylor's got Edgecombe. We talk about Baylor. Edgecombe's a monster. That kid's really good.
By the way, Rick Pitino, my friend, getting the number 1 player in the portal.
Jaden Quinton's the 14-year-old number 9 in the country.
Interesting.
I don't agree with that.
I was going to say, is that but you know what's weird about all the ASU one and dones is that they generally go there and they don't do anything for that 1 year and then they leave. Josh Christopher, Lagoons Dort.
Here's what's going to happen to Jaden Quaintance. He's going to get paid by ASU, which is crazy to say. He's going to play for a year. He's going to put up numbers. Who's the other really good big?
Duke Brennan.
That was, Duke Brennan. And then he's going to leave somewhere.
Yeah. No, I agree. Plus, he's not
went to Ole Miss. Like, who's the one that was good at ASU?
Carmelo White.
Yeah, that's Quaintance is only 16 years old. He's big, but he's only 16. He has no offensive game. None.
Right. Yeah. But again, that's where Pitino did not get Kerr, though. That is a win. He didn't want him, dude. That's
didn't want him anyway. Isn't that what we do? He didn't want him anyway.
Oh, we talked about that on the show yesterday with you bashing people once they leave. BBN.
I never bashed BBN.
Oh, you bashed BBN.
Yeah, and you bashed Kerr way more than I ever did.
But I always bashed Kerr when he was here.
That's true.
I didn't like Kerr. I've never liked Kerr. I don't want Kerr here. I don't.
Mike just said, quote, I hope Kerr's the last international to ever play for Arizona.
I did not say that. Not say that because how does
Dell'Orso fit into that? He's Australian. Does that?
But count? I like internationals. I have no problem with internationals. Umar Ballo, leader of men, international. No.
Yeah. Is Dell'Orso an Italian Australian? I need to find this out.
Yeah, I would assume so. Dude. I bet he's from his dad's from Sicily and his mother is from yeah.
Erica, if you're still in the chat, we need two things. We need you to find this out, and we need you to text Crevis for foot pics.
What's that? See, still wild how Mike bashed. Here's why I bash Kerr more than Boz. This is very, very simple. Again,
Mike hates players. I got this, Mike. Mike hates players that talk crap and can't back it up. Hates them. He will call me and be like, "This guy's talking trash," blah blah blah, and he sucks. That's how Mike looks at Kerr.
I don't have a problem with I don't like players that talk nonstop and then don't back it up. Can we tell the story about Ben One White and when he talked with Tiger Campbell in the Pac-12 tournament about Kerr? Yeah. Oh yeah, Ben One White's not here to defend himself. He's probably eating the fruits and the creams right now. But basically, he was like, yeah. He says, he goes, yeah, are you worried about Kerr Kriisa coming back for another year? And he just laughs and he says, I think everybody wants that dude to talk and come back another year. And just walked off again, dude. And he always got technicals at the most inopportune times as well. I am out of here. At least Boswell's 17. I can give him. I wanted to move on from Boswell. I was a Jane Bradley guy very early on, but that's kind of where I'm at. Joseph,
yeah. I don't hate Kerr as much as you do. But I'm also not in love with him or anything. I don't go man, if Arizona had Kerr last year, how different it would have been. He's fine.
Right. One thing that we don't have to worry about though is the Desert Financial Credit Union, Jason Scheer. The Desert Financial Credit Union. Here's the deal. All right. Hold on. I'm reading the wrong script. When you open a free checking account online, get $200 in bonuses. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200 today. Our good friend Ben One White is with the Desert Financial Credit Union. It is very, very good, and you should check it out. Again, the Desert Financial Credit Union. I have seen one many, many times. Gringo Billy, the great Gringo Billy. This is really kind of where it's at. Let's just call a spade here. But you're not winning anything big with either one of those guys at your starting point. At least with Boswell, he was at least young, but Kerr was 22, and I didn't want anything to do with that. All right, but let's get back to Anthony Dell'Orso for a second. Also, an Italian playwright, Anthony Dell'Orso. But I like it. Any dude that wants to average 20 points per game at Campbell and come over here and he's like, man, I don't care if I start. I just want to be able to play. I am in on that. And people, there was a little bit of Sed Henderson. There was a little bit of Sed Henderson slander going on.
Yeah.
Sed Henderson is a 7th or 8th man is awesome. That I'm totally fine. I just don't want him starting.
Right. The problem with Cedric is when he had to play 25 minutes a game towards the end of the season, and that just can't happen.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that just can't happen. But if he's going to play 12 minutes per game, Totally
Yeah,
cool with
cool.
that. Said was a good player. He was just miscast having to start. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't blame Cedric for any of that. It was just he didn't
Plus,
get the role.
he was a great kid too.
The coolest kid. Like such a nice dude.
What is he doing now? Is he playing anywhere?
I think he owns a Circle K.
Does he own a Circle K?
No, I just made that up.
Oh, that was very. Speaking of somebody that owns these, or was what were we going to say? Oh no,
I'm looking at how many minutes he played at Arizona. So he played 23 minutes a game at Arizona.
Okay, that's
averaged 8 points, shot 46%, 4 rebounds a game.
I like Seth Henderson. If we're getting Seth Henderson impact here, I am more than okay with that. Honestly, I think he's probably got a little bit more improvement, but I'm totally okay with that.
Cedric's probably a better defender than this kid is, and this kid's probably better offensively than Cedric was.
Yeah. So again, if the impact's the same, then we will take it. We should all take it. And again, Palmer Hoffman. I don't like I said that.
I'm not sure. We could do a whole show on this. I'm not sure Boswell's better than Kerr. I'm not
sure either, but I at least think that he has the potential to be better. That's the only thing, and he's younger. That's all I'm going to say. I do not want either one of them here. That is totally, I agree. But I at least give Boswell a little bit because he's still only 18. So I will give him that. Kriisa is 22. He will go and he will do all of the annoying stuff. And my biggest problem with Kriisa is that he would get technicals at the exact wrong time as well. I did not like any of that. But again, Jaden Bradley is better than both. Adam Prim and myself, head of the Jaden Bradley fan wagon. We just turned it into a bandwagon.
It's not bad, actually.
What's that? Sure, you just froze again. You keep freezing. It's like you're watching Frozen. To quote Kendrick Lamar, you should be watching Frozen with your children right now. Did you get that?
Frozen right now?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
All right, Sheer.
We
very much appreciate you putting up with all this nonsense. By the way, Chip Hale, baby. Do they play today, by the way?
No. No. They got a very I believe they have a very big series coming up this weekend.
Don't they play like Utah or somebody?
Yeah, that's a very, very, very big series for the Pac-12 title. They end the season. I'm a baseball expert now. They end the season with Utah and Oregon State, I believe, the two best teams in the conference besides Arizona, of course. It's a big deal. We're gonna know. Mike.
Lock up Chip long term. This is true.
The problem is if you lock up Chip, it's not a problem, but if you lock up Chip long term, you got to find the money to get Vance too. So like if you give Vance a raise, you can't give Vance a raise and not give Chip a raise. So this is going to be Desiree's first test.
Yes. Is that actually? No, it very much is. Humberto, we need you back. Come back into the side room, Humberto.
But I don't think Love to answer Marcelo's. It's possible. Yeah. They don't think the 29th, but it is very possible.
All right. Sheer, where can they find you doing all your work?
WildcatAuthority.com, at Jason Sheer on Twitter, the Wildcat Scoop podcast with Shelby, and the Autograph app.
All right. We appreciate you all. Very much appreciate you all. It always is awesome when you guys are in there. We appreciate everybody in there. You guys are the best. But for Jason Sheer, I am merely Mike Luke. We will be back with you tomorrow. You have been listening to the AZ Wildcats podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.